Krishna as being divine, and yet he was cursed, wiped out his entire family and the entire Yadava race. Kind of stunning to see that, he could also be cursed given his powers, given his divine grace.
When the Supreme Consciousness, Divine Consciousness takes birth as an avatar, he is here to show us how to live life in the highest form. They do not act as God would. They act as humanly possible because we are supposed to learn and be inspired from them. Who can curse an avatar?
Talking about influence and, could Krishna do this and could Krishna do that? How come Duryodhana, how come he was never influenced? Was he so egoistic that he couldn't see beyond, or so insecure he couldn't see beyond?
The Duryodhana archetype is inside us and the Arjuna archetype is also inside us. So these are different ways and times when a being evolves. So they are showing us that inside us.
So I had a question about the Radha-Krishna story, the childhood and then Radha-Krishna, and then completely it just breaks, and then we have the adult version of Krishna with all the responsibilities. So what is this spiritual or significance that they are trying to show?
Yeah, so we talked about it, but maybe I did not address it properly. Let's start with an invocation. Please bring your left palm and right palm together, your intuitive mind and your logical mind. Close your eyes, touch your hands to your heart to activate the Anahata chakra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvisha vahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Open your eyes. So today we are just going to do a question and answer session. And those who attended the Krishna Janmashtami session, there were some questions, even things unrelated to it or, remotely related to it, we can discuss here, and I'll try my best to answer. So let's go. I mean, Subhadra, you had a question, so why don't you go first?
Sure. No, I was saying we talk about Krishna as being divine, supreme consciousness, and yet he was cursed by Gandhari, and it wiped out his entire family and the entire Yadava race. So he is, because he was born as Krishna on earth, he was not immune from this, or I guess it was kind of stunning to see that, he could also be cursed given his powers, given his divine grace.
Yeah.
I just wanted to talk a little, I wanted you to explain a little bit about the power of karma, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's not just karma also, but it's a beautiful question. And I think it's a question all of us have grappled with at some point or the other. There are several nuances to this. First of all, when the Supreme Consciousness, Divine Consciousness takes birth as an avatar, he is here or she is here to show us how to live life in the highest form. They do not act as God would. They act as humanly possible because we are supposed to learn and be inspired from them. Because if they come and do all things that a human being cannot do or cannot receive, then what is the point? We'll say, yeah, he's God, so he can do everything. What can we learn from Krishna's life? What can we learn from Lord Ram's life? If you look at their lives, extreme difficulty from Krishna from the minute he was born, and Lord Ram from very early age, they had to go to the forest. Why was he exiled? So understanding that an avatar behaves as closely as they can to a human being because they are a role model, and a role model should be one that we can emulate. If they are immune from everything but we are not, what can we emulate from them? So that is one aspect of it. Secondly, even if they were not an avatar, even God in heaven will not interfere with, first of all, if they don't come, you cannot curse them, but they will not interfere. A related question is, why can't God just fix all the suffering and pain and disease? Why can't he do it? Because the whole purpose is, if God does that, it defeats the whole purpose, because human beings and all beings are created with the combinations of gunas and karmas, and we have our own predilection, our own tendency. So if our consciousness does not grow, just fixing it won't fix the problem, because very soon it will come back. It's just like when two siblings are fighting at home. If you interfere as a mother or a father and say, don't fight, temporarily they won't fight. When you're gone, what will happen? They will come back and fight again. So you have to spend time explaining to the siblings why they should not fight, what they have to lose by when they fight together inside the family. So that evolution of consciousness has to happen, right? Even in a medical perspective, sometimes when we have, I can only give examples about a weight loss, because that has been the most challenging thing. I can go to a doctor and say, give me Ozempic, that's the latest drug, right? And I would lose 20 pounds. As soon as I get off the Ozempic, you think I will be able to put it off? Why? Because I was not trained to eat properly and have a good relationship with food. So that evolution is slow. And it happens in stages through many lifetimes. And even in this lifetime, it has to grow. So that part of it is why Krishna, any avatar can be cursed. And secondly, it was also when an avatar comes, they know that once their major purpose is fulfilled, they have to go back. And there has to be a mortal reason for, they can't just say, sit like that and vanish into thin air. There has to be a reason for them to go back. So they will also create, like in Lord Ram's case, after everything was done and Hanumanji refused to let him go, so he deliberately dropped his ring and said, oh, I can't find my ring. Can you get it? It had fallen through the crevices of the floor. Hanumanji goes into, as he goes down, he goes into Patal, and then there is the guardian and he says, what are you here for? He said, I'm looking for Lord Ram's ring. He says, which Ram? So many Rams have come and gone. So by the time Hanumanji comes up, Lord Ram is gone. So there has to be a reason. Third reason is that just because Lord Krishna belonged to the Yadava clan doesn't mean everybody in the Yadava clan were as pure and enlightened as Lord Krishna. In fact, they got arrogant with the power and the name and fame that Lord Krishna created through Dwarka and his council and everything. They had started infighting. So the avatar will not make a difference between, I only, if there is a infighting in Kuru Vansha, I will destroy them. But if they're infighting in Yadava Vansha, I will protect them. Why? If they're infighting, if they are not following dharma, they will also perish. Whether they belong to Krishna's clan or Kuru clan doesn't matter. So that is on that aspect. Now, who can curse an avatar? The same thing. It's not just who can curse an avatar, who can curse, period. So human beings carry tremendous power to curse, but not everybody can curse. They can curse, but it will be useless. Whose curse will be effective? One who has done tremendous tapas. And Gandhari, because of that blindfold, somebody who doesn't have eyes, but just to understand her husband better, who from birth was blind, did a huge sacrifice, huge tapasya. And she was throughout until the last moment when she cursed Lord Krishna, she was a very devout, very dharmic person. So people like that, when they curse, when you and I curse, it will not, forget about Lord Krishna, we can't even impact our neighbor. But if we have done a tapasya, whether it is a maunya tapasya or closing your eyes or not eating or standing on one leg, you cultivate tremendous power and you can curse anybody. Now, when Gandhari cursed, because she was such a powerful tapaswin and such tapasya she done, it will be effective. But the downside to that is all the goodwill you had collected because of the tapasya, once you do it, it finishes right there and then. If you don't have the sthita pragya or equanimity or samatvam to understand that you're on the one hand, you're saying you're God, you know everything. Then if he knows everything, you must trust that he did the right thing. So you are not able, your emotion, your limbic brain overtook your frontal cortex. So you lost your equanimity, or she lost her equanimity at that moment. So it will be effective, but such tapasya she had done, if she had refrained, if she could have refrained from cursing Lord Krishna, she could have easily gone to Vaikuntha. But now she will be born again and go through tremendous tapasya again. So that's why even on a man to man, human to human level, when we curse somebody, when do we curse? When we are given tremendous pain, right? If you can maintain your equanimity, the person who has done wrong by you will suffer because of the karma, but you transcend your karma. But if you curse, you fall down to their level or below them. And this example is given in many stories in the Purana. So many rishis and sages have gone through many thousands of years of tapasya, and then something irritates them, they give a curse and they lose it.
Right.
Same with Vishwamitra.
Vishwamitra.
They said 10,000 years for him to become a Brahma Rishi. First, he had to overcome anger. He used to get angry. He used to curse. He lost his tapasya power. Then it was lust. Menaka came. He lost it. Then again he did tapasya. Then came Vashishta, his ego. So we can curse anybody, but when we curse, our spiritual function goes down and we lose it. And this is not just in Hinduism. What happened to Lord Jesus? He took on, sometimes you take on the pain and suffering of the people around you. So just because there's God or God's son or avatar, they are not immune. They cannot be immune because the purpose is defeated. They came in the first place to show you how a human being should live. So, and Gandhari was factually correct that if Krishna knew everything. If she wanted, he could have stopped the war, but he didn't. Why didn't he stop the war? Because the dharma in the society had gone down. If he had stopped the war, and after he won't be here indefinitely, he would have gone back. Then again, the adharmic forces would have gotten back together. And what Gandhari forgot in that moment of intense pain, Pandavas lost quite a lot also. I mean, Arjuna lost Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is Arjuna's Abhiman. He almost lost it. But Krishna contained him, saying, no, you cannot do that. So that is why if the avatars will go through everything a human being goes through, but their response teaches us. If we had been cursed, we would have done a rain dance there. Say, ingrates, we have done so much for you, but what did Krishna do? He smiled and he said, so be it, tathastu. Right? Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you.
Sure. Samta, anything you, either from the session in, Krishna Janmashtami or otherwise also?
Nita, there was a question somebody asked that 16,000 thoughts that the gopis.
Okay. Yes, I think that was Janu Janaki. So basically, Radha is the embodied soul and she is the one and only gopi. All the gopis are her the manifestation of her different moods with which she connects with Krishna. So every thought, in fact, we did that meditation where in a Rasa Leela, between every gopi there was a Krishna, meaning every thought is now going towards Krishna, 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 Krishna. Then when that is called dharana. Then dhyana is when Radha comes out of that circle and moves to the middle and merges with. So then at that point, there is no more gopis. There's only Radha and Krishna. And at some point, they become one. There is not only Radha and Krishna, there is only Krishna. So that is the reason that so many gopis are so many thoughts that a devotee or an embodied soul or jiva wants to, through which we want to connect with Lord Krishna. And not only these are thoughts, but also archetypes. We can connect with him as a mother and child, as siblings, as lovers, as friends, as even enemies. Even enemies we can connect with him, which is Ravana and Kamsa. Because ultimately only Krishna or Rama can deal with Ravana and Kamsa. Nobody else can. So we take our ego to such a point of acme of culmination that we bring down the avatara to us. But a lot of people say, so why shouldn't we take the Ravana path? we should do whatever Ravana does, ultimately Lord Ram will come. No, we don't do what Ravana does. Ravana's tapasya was ghor tapasya. Ghor. Can we do the tapasya Ravana did? Ravana could control the planets. Can we control the planets? Ravana could build a kingdom of gold. Can we do that? So we cannot be Ravana. And that intense hatred or for Lord Ram, hatred is a wrong word. I don't know what word to, that dvesha. And we feel guilty, and it's a very painful life. If you go through life hating God or challenging God, it's not everybody's bas ki baat hai. It is not everybody's eligible to have content, go through life hating or fighting or conflicting with the God principle. So if you do it, then yes, you will. So you will bring down an avatar. If you can be like Ravana, if you can do that tapasya, and every time all you think about is, how I'll defeat Lord Ram or take what he has.
I have a question if nobody else has one, because I don't
Go
think
ahead. Others have, they can jump in.
No, the thing is, talking about influence and, couldn't Krishna do this and couldn't Krishna do that? How come, and maybe this has to do with Vasanas, I'm not sure, how come Duryodhan was in the same, he was in the same camp. He was also raised along with Krishna, along with Arjuna, I mean, and Krishna did go to both. How come he was never influenced by Krishna to at least walk a different path rather than the one he did, because it meant death and destruction? And I know there's free will and there is, but what happened? Why? What was it just Vasanas? Was he so egoistic that he couldn't see beyond, or so insecure he couldn't see beyond?
Yes. So the thing is, the Duryodhana archetype is inside us, and the Arjuna archetype is also inside us. So these are different ways and times when a being evolves. So they are showing us that inside us, there is a sapient tendency, which is the Pandavas, which is thinking of higher dharmic thoughts, and you have the selfish me and mine. Now, to what extent you have the selfish me and mine is in you, and that depends on your guna, your previous karma. Based on your previous karma, your guna, and based on your guna, your sangati, who you are surrounded by. They were constantly surrounded by Shakuni.
Mm.
There was constantly some advice going into their head, and they did not seek advice from anywhere else. It is not that as a child they may not know what Shakuni is saying, but they knew that they did not have the blessings of their people or the praja or anybody around them. Wherever they went, they spread negativity and disharmony and pain and suffering. But knowing that also, right? Knowing that also, they continued, because there is a Duryodhana archetype inside us also. And the Duryodhana archetype, with his attending 99 brothers, the negative thoughts, which is depression, anger, lust, fear, jealousy, is much stronger than the sapient tendencies. So there are only 5. And that's why it will always be that it is an allegorical fight. Inside us, it's happening every day. The 100 lower tendencies.
Mm.
If they listen, then there won't be a Jagat. So a lot of people say, why can't there be peace all the time? All the war should cease. It cannot. It cannot, because the minute you come into the manifested world, the Jagat, it's a duality. Dvesha, always raga dvesha. If there is no duality, there is no Jagat. Because if there is no you, if there is no you, there cannot be a me. Then everybody just collapses into the Brahman. So nobody can stop the war. Somewhere or the other, there will always be a war. Even in Satya Yuga, in Ram's Yuga, and even in Asuras and Devatas, there was fight. So if the fight stops, then one of the varnas is completely redundant. Kshatriyas will be done away with, because they have no other role. So there will always be conflict in society, conflict inside us, conflict in families, conflict in nations, within nations. And Duryodhana embodies and represents that part which is me and mine, which is 95 or 99% of the world. And the Pandavas represent that one thing which is trying to go against that me and mine. So anybody?
I have a question, Nita.
Sure.
So, is it possible for a genuinely good person at one time to go downhill and become not a good person? Are those lasting? Is there a lasting change? What happens?
No, it's yes, it's definitely possible. There are two scenarios here. One we talked about, you weren't present, but we talked about Ugrasena. Ugrasena is the righteousness without power. So when we don't have the power and we try to be good, it is ineffective, not only to help anybody else, but also because Ugrasena couldn't prevent his son Kamsa from imprisoning his daughter Devaki. So you are ineffective when you don't have the power. Just goodness is not enough. Along with goodness, power is required. Power is knowledge, understanding, and acting based on that knowledge. Many times in the Puranas, there are stories, and I cannot recall the names of all the rishis, I mean, all the people who went down that. They were doing extremely well, and then one lingering vasana took them down. One of them is Jadabharata. There was this rishi there was this king who gave up. He wanted to practice detachment. He gave up everything, his kingdom, his family, went to the forest, and he was, in a hermitage, just meditating. One day he saw that one deer was shot who was pregnant and had a newborn baby next to it, and his was filled with compassion. He picked up the deer, brought it back to the ashrama, and was looking after the deer, and in the process not realize how slowly vasanas can take over without your being conscious. He was in a place where he was meditating, but he became so attached to the little deer that when the time came for him to die, one day, he was getting old, and the deer went out to the forest, didn't come back. And all he could do was think about, where is the deer? Where is the deer? Where is the deer? Instead of focusing on his meditation, and become so distraught, so sad, that he passed away thinking about the deer. And, we won't go more to the story. This is about attachment. But there is also Narada, who always thought that he was beyond Maya, and he tested Vishnu. And again, there he asked, that please show me your Maya, because I can withstand it. No matter how much Vishnu tried to explain to him, he didn't understand. And Lord Vishnu gave him one jhalak, just a glimpse of Maya. Lifetimes passed away before he could come back. And it felt like a dream to him. So what I'm trying to say is, whether it is illusion, whether it is attachment or any other thing, we can. And when you go down, again you will come. Only when we hit rock bottom and we are in pain and we will cry out to the divine energy to save us, then they will start. Because this is bhukti and mukti. We are going down, manifestation, liberation, manifestation, liberation. That is the samsara, the cycle of life and death. So you will come up, but sometimes when somebody does very bad adharmic, ghor anyaya, then they get relegated to a animal existence. What we mean by animal existence is that there is no choice. Animals have no choice. It's just like, so many times we do small crimes in society, and we know, little fine we pay, we ran a red light, we did this, we did that, didn't pay tax, we pay the penalty, and we come back. But when you do deliberate, malicious acts, you are put away in prison, where your choice is taken away, because you are not fit to be a member of the human society. Similarly, that's why you're sent into an animal existence where you don't have any choice. And that's why you will see many people behaving like animals. And those animals also, when they come out of, when they realize that, they have learned their lesson. You've heard stories of tigers, of elephants, of dogs, of cows, who have human-like tendencies. They come back to their, even in the wilderness, like that, born free, living free. Those lions who are such antithetical to, or they have a predator-prey relationship with human beings. They come back and they, to pay their respects to the humans who freed them. What is that? It's an evolved person who was temporarily in that position. So we can come back, but not automatically. We will have to do tapasya. And this is what the Kunti Stuti is all about. Somebody said, can we be nice, have a wonderful life and be very spiritual? Yes, but only surface level or maybe little bit depth. But for moksha, tremendous pain is required. Because if tremendous pain is not required, we get caught up in this mayajal. Nobody wants. If you have everything good going for you, why would you want to get out of this? Why? Give one reason. So Kunti said at the end of Mahabharata, Lord Krishna asked everybody, especially people close to him, that I want to give you a boon, ask for anything. She said, more suffering. Why? He said, didn't you have enough? She said, yes, I had plenty of suffering, but because of the suffering I called you. Because I called you, you came. If you didn't come, I wouldn't get, moksha. So suffering, when we happen, we have to put it in our, we have to do a cognitive reframing that our soul wanted this because in this lifetime, it wants to free itself from this unending birth and death, and everything in between. So to answer your question, yes, even good people will. Even Indra, how many instances? Are we better than Indra? Indra is one who has controlled his Indriyas. But look how many harkats he has done. How many havoc he has created everywhere. Starting from the Samudra Manthan to the Ahalya and Gautama story. So if Indra can fall from grace, who are we? Of course we'll fall from grace. Every once in a while. But it is never permanent. Never. Nothing is ever permanent. That's the beauty of Vedantic philosophy is nothing is permanent. It's an ongoing cycle. But if you want to break free from the cycle, then you'll have to put in, a tapasya, and you have to do the, vairagya and get out of it and understand. First, get the jnana that why I should get out and go where and then how and then do it.
Truly. If Kaikeyi could fall, Indra could fall, if everybody can fall, people can fall. Because attachment, I think attachment can do it, and desire.
Absolutely. There is another, now that you mentioned Kaikeyi, I want to share this unless somebody has a question. I read a very interesting angle to Kaikeyi, that Kaikeyi is seen as a very vicious woman. But actually there is some regional Ramayana where there is this conversation between Kaikeyi and Lord Ram, and Ram comes to Kaikeyi's chambers and she says, what do you want to eat? Because she loved him, if at all possible, more than Kaushalya. And he said, Mata, every time you give me food and clothes and love and this and that, but you've never asked what I want. She said, yeah, anything you want, I can give you. Anything, name it. He says, no, but you must promise me that you'll give me. She said, why do you need a promise? You don't trust me? He said, I trust you, but I need a promise. She said, no, please ask. He says, look, what I ask will give you pain, lot of pain. She said, I can take any pain for you. She said, whatever you ask, people will vilify you, will call you a witch. She said, I can take that. If it's giving you joy, I will. Whatever I'm going to ask, if you give it, you won't see me for 14 years. She said, don't ask that, Ram. Please, not that. Anything I can take. But he says, Mata, I have come here for a purpose and nobody can do it other than you. If you don't do it, my avatar will be wasted. So then he said, so we don't realize that we just go with our human perception of things. If somebody sends somebody away, that must be a bad person. But what sacrifice Kaikeyi did? Who would have to be forever and ever known to be the witch or demoness or whatever? But she did it because she said, okay, ask. And he says, you must send me away for 14 years. So there's that aspect too.
So we have to remember that whatever is going on is God's will, actually.
God's will. And also the difficult people in our life are here to help us fulfill our purpose. We may not have to go to the forest to kill demons, but the demons are inside us, which we have to kill. And if they don't do that, we don't get triggered. We don't get triggered. We don't see what the demons are. We don't see the demons. How the hell will we kill them?
Truly. Good. Thanks, Nita.
Sure.
So I had a question about the Radha-Krishna story, and the break that happens between the Radha-Krishna, the childhood, and then Radha-Krishna, and then completely it just breaks, and then we have the adult version of Krishna with all the responsibilities, and then his wives and Rukmani episode. So, what is this spiritual or significance that they are trying to show?
Yeah, so nice question, Samta. We talked about it, but maybe I did not address it properly. That we can learn a lot about the deity, any deity, based on their dharma, nama, rupa, saguna, nirguna. And dharma is, there is a sequence, a chronological sequence, because it's not any which way. Mathura is where our embodied jiva is born into imprisonment of karmic entanglement. And then, no matter how bad a karmic entanglement or we are born into, next will come the Gokula phase, where innocence of childhood. We all, no matter how poor, how diseased child is, they all have this very innocent dreams. They think they can be anybody, they can have anybody. That is the Gokula phase, where the goodness of humanity is nurtured inside you, to different degrees for different people. But even if you go to a slum or a jhopadpoti, those kids are quite happy jumping around. That is the Gokula. You don't know the adharma in the world yet. And then the Vrindavan comes when that, teenager, the love, that we feel that we can marry a princess, we can marry a prince, anything is possible. But these are the nurturing elements where humanity still is trained to believe the good is still better than the bad. There is a lot of bad in the world, but good is still predominant, right? If good goes below 50%, then the Jagat will finish there, right there and there. And before it goes, Avatara always comes. That's why that Gokula phase has to be maintained in everybody's life. Then the Vrindavan phase, where the love, you know how teenagers are, they think love will conquer everything. Krishna never went back to any phase, because we cannot. Once you come to Gokula, you cannot willingly go back to that prison again, except Mathura, because that is where the demons are. In Krishna's avatara, the demons, the major one was Kamsa. There were many, Putana and Sakarsura and hundreds of demons he fought in Gokula also. But the major demon was Kamsa. And he went back as a mature human being who has got so much love and protection from his childhood, that you can go and do what is called our inner child healing, or do shadow work and destroy that demon once and for all. Because if you don't do that, you cannot go to Dwarka. Dwarka is Dwar is doorway, Arka is light, doorway to enlightenment. So only place he went back is Dwarka. Because think of it this way, it's like our childhood or our awareness. Once milk becomes yogurt, curd, it cannot be turned back to milk again. It cannot. But you can go back and find out what caused the milk to become yogurt. But after that, you move on, and from the yogurt, you make butter. Right? So that is why from Mathura to Gokula to Vrindavan to Mathura, only place he went back for a second time was Mathura, to deal with that demon. And we have to do that as mature human beings. Once we have love, and many people say they have such sad upbringing, and that is not Gokula. But Sadhguru once explained something which is very beautiful, which is like, you could have been killed. You could have been, first of all, abortion. Second of all, thrown into a hellhole. You could have gone into, so many of us complain about our childhood, even when we had fairly nice childhood. We're just comparing to somebody else and feeling it's really bad. Not to say that there are not children in that case also. But again, these are souls that have barely come out of animal existence, meaning Pashu, which is no choice. A Pashu needs a Pasha. Pasha means you're tied to your tendencies, your vasana. So when they become a human being for the first time, they have choice. And it's just like a child. When it first starts to walk, does it too? Here and there it goes and falls everywhere. So the soul also will do that. So don't say that it is unfair. They've come out of having no choice to choice and taking very bad choices, like a child would do when it makes choices. And then it'll grow into, it'll take lifetimes, not in this lifetime.
Thank you.
Neeta, what does Putna signify? What is the
Putna signifies that which appears to be nourishing but is toxic. Now, Putana was trying to breastfeed Krishna, right? So breastfeeding it's the most nurturing of all acts, but she had poison. So many people around us, we like people who give us compliments, who hang out with us, who call us to their social, who include us in the social circle. It looks like they're nourishing us, nurturing us, but they're really toxic people. And the ones who are telling us the truth, who are making us be disciplined, who are telling the truth on our face, we don't like them, but we like the Putana types of people. But
I think, I mean, yes, sorry, I always have questions for you, you know that. I think the question is like you say suffering, right?
Mhm.
I mean, I'm just a bit, what is suffering? Because I
Yeah,
know people who've
wonderful
had
question.
I know people who've had an amazing childhood, you know, amazing teenage, 20 years. And, you know, it was awesome, you know, fell in love, got married, and then boom,
Mm.
lots of
So
hardships, I would say. I would not say suffering.
yeah, so
I don't know if so, but I think like I guess, what is one's purpose? What is one supposed to do? Overcome that suffering, or I don't
there
know.
is oversee suffering is a mental activity, emotional activity actually,
Mm.
and pain and hardship is a physical activity. There is no way, I mean, not no way, you will have to experience. It is in Vedanta, they say that you cannot get rid of pain, but you need not suffer. So suffering is what attachment, what meaning you attach to that physical experience or material experience. For instance, if somebody is poking you, needle, somebody is stitching, you have a cut. That's painful. Now, whether you make it suffering or not is your choice, because we, of our own free will, subject ourselves to massive tattoos. Isn't that pain? Aren't you poking the skin? So at that point, you have decided this is not suffering, it is just pain. But when you are going through a surgery, oh, this is suffering. Why is God giving me suffering? No, it is your choice. You must say, God is so grateful that the medical science is so advanced and a doctor is available that I can get out of my disease or be cured of my disease. So suffering does not mean that when you stop suffering that you will not, you will overcome all. Everything will happen, but you look at it like a movie. Like when we go to a movie, don't we pay a lot of money to see horror movies? Isn't that suffering? If that happened in real life, it would be suffering. But why we pay money to go and see that? Some part of us enjoys seeing that. But we don't accept that when it happens to us against our will.
But just a follow up on that, when people get sick and it's something that, things were going, they have gone through a lot of hardships, and suddenly, there comes a period when things look like, okay, now they are getting out of it. And then again, they go back into the hardship, they go either get terminally ill or something happens where it feels like they're not getting a break and they are dealing with it the best that they can without complaining, but it still feels like, why are they not getting a break? So is this still
So
a Maya that we need to overcome and just accept?
every experience is Maya. Experience of duality, like I'm the subject and the rest of the world is the object. Whether it is my thought, my mind, my people, my world, my country, everything is an object. Object. I'm a subject. So everything is Maya, because in reality, nothing happens like in a dream. But this goes back to our first question, which is why Gandhari cursed, and so Krishna, and why everybody died? Because we have to understand that what is the cause of suffering. In modern world, they just thought it was a physiological phenomenon. Any disease is not just a physiological phenomenon, it is a social, political, emotional, spiritual phenomenon. So the suffering in Ayurveda starts when we say cancer was detected early. It is actually the last stage. When a physical manifestation, when a instrument can detect your cancer, it is the last stage. We have 7 dhatus, what is it called? Rakta, Mamsa, Medhu, um, um, uh, I forget. There is the blood, there is the bone, there is the bone marrow, there is skin, muscles, and finally there is shukra. That what is it called? Creative fluid, the semen in the man and reproductive fluid in the woman. that creates in that, when it comes down, that is the creative phase. So when it is manifesting in the body, that means you're in the panchakosha, in the context of the panchakosha, your prana, your vitality is already diseased. What is causing disease to the vitality? Your manomaya kosha, your mind is already diseased. What is causing disease in your mind? Your vijnanamaya, your concept of dharma is diseased. And what is causing disease in dharma? Anandamaya kosha, ignorance. You don't know who you are. So how will you fix the anandamaya, the annamaya kosha disease? And if you pray to God and God fixes it, the same thing. After it fixes, you'll do the same thing. It'll take another 3 years, 5 years, and it'll come. So that is why when we do so many pujas and havans and homa to save some soul who's suffering, we are buying them time and keeping them bound in this jagat longer. But we, from our limited understanding, we still have to do that. Otherwise, it will be very difficult for us to handle disease. But look at Ramana Maharshi, throat cancer. Look at Ramakrishna Paramahansa, some other cancer. So many people, they did not care because they said once you take a body, birth, growth, disease, decay, death is inevitable. So if you're trying to stop a natural process, it's like the sun is setting and you want to say, I'm scared of the dark, I have to stop the sun, I have to stop the sun. You will do havan, puja to stop the sun. How long will you stop the sun? So better to say that, okay, in some lifetime, I did something. I was ignorant. Therefore, I had ego. Therefore, I have likes and dislikes, which are not according to dharma. Therefore, I will have disease. Let me learn and let it go. Witness it. Because I won't die. This body which is diseased will die. Just like I'm wearing a cloth, a dress all the time, it's torn, like chapter 2, shloka 22. Body is like a cloth. Why are you so attached to it? Let the disease be there. If the dress is torn, we don't lose our mind over it. But when the body is torn, we lose our mind over it. Because lack of ignorance, lack of who we are, knowledge.
So should we not try to fix ourselves?
No, that is not the right way, because unless you happen to have that knowledge, that jnana, it would be wrong. It's like people trying to be spiritual when they have not fulfilled money needs, sexual needs, power needs. Because you have suppressed it, you've gone to the higher chakras, and in the weirdest thing some of the spiritual people do, they're caught for sexual scandals. Why? They suppressed it. They did not transcend it. So if you are still identified with your body, my family, my life, then you must take care of your body. It is incumbent on you to take care of your body and get medical treatment. But if you really know that you're not the body, then don't do anything. You think Ramakrishna did anything? Bare minimum to function till they drop the body. So as long as you have the body, you must do the puja part and the medical treatment together. The spiritual healing and the physical healing, you must continue. And pursue a Vedantic path where you understand, I'm not this body. What am I doing puja for? It's like doing a puja for your favorite ghagra. Right?
But
Okay.
what about when one knows they're terminally ill? Then what are your thoughts on that medical treatments then? Because that is just extending it and pushing the pain through, where you're really not being in any service or not able to do anything.
You'd be surprised, Abha, that because you've been on this spiritual path for so long, you're even asking this question. You know how many people till their last breath they fight to live? If that is the thing, because they don't know what it is. And that last moment, you can't tell them you're not the body. So they will fight, and they should be allowed to fight. There's nothing wrong. We have 84 million lifetimes to understand this knowledge. Where is the hurry? But people like you, they ask because you have been exposed to that knowledge. You may not be living it all the time. So it is incumbent on you to start preparing before you have terminal disease, to prepare yourself that this is just a body. This is just a body. It has to die. Either it will die from disease or from accident, or somebody will stab you, or you'll commit suicide because somebody hurt you. Somehow you will die, no? So Those who are not ready must be allowed to fight for their body. They will take 3 other lifetimes. We have all taken many, many lifetimes. And maybe in this lifetime, we are fortunate enough through some sadhana that we even know that not fighting for the body is an option actually. How many people, especially in this country, till the last, medical system is such and the people are such that perfect combination. Neither they will give up, nor the medical system will give up. So that's fine.
Well, and interesting is sometimes it's not people fighting it, it's other people fighting to keep them alive, right? When it's on life supports and
Right.
all of those.
Whoever is fighting is ignorant of the nature of the soul. And you cannot, if they have not started early in life, at that juncture in their life, no matter what you say will not make sense to them. You will be considered cruel, harsh, and discarded very quickly from their life. But if you have, that is why spirituality is not a post-retirement sport. That is why in the Varna ashrama, spirituality started, the brahmacharya is learning spirituality. Brahma Gyan is given first in the first 12 years of your life so that you can use it for the next 70, 80 years of your life. But nowadays we have reserved spirituality after 70 when we cannot eat, cannot walk, cannot do anything. Then let us get out the Gita and let's read now. What it says, oh, it's a body. My body is just an outfit. It's not going to work then.
I think that's what training your mind is, because you too tend to forget every time a hardship comes or every time you see someone pass away, you are taken back 2 steps and you have to tell yourself and train your mind again.
Yeah. And in chapter 8 of Bhagavad Gita, the Lord Krishna says that if you think of me when your breath is leaving your body, you will come to me. But he also made it very clear that it will be impossible for you to think about me if you have not made a practice of it early on.
Mm-hmm.
So that is why, human beings, and they're trying to be very clever, and they started naming their children God's name, Ram, Sita, Lakshmi, Vishnu, Shiva. So that last minute, they're not actually calling the God, they're calling their children, but thinking that will get them there. And to some extent, it may help, but that's not, if you have not practiced. And, in Tibetan Buddhism, and of course, in the ashrams and hermitages, they practice this. Every night there is a ritual of consciously dying, because every night we are dying and every morning we are being born again. So consciously saying, I let go of this body, I let go of my spouse, I let go of my children, I let go of my name, I let go of my money. Meaning, when you say let go, if I never get up, I'm at peace.
Mm-hmm.
So if you don't get up, you'll be at peace. One day it'll actually be true. Your body, your prana is leaving your body, and you will practice what you've done for so many years. You'll say, I'm at peace. It's just like, again, I bring everything back to my diet experience. That is my, whatever I learned in my food journey. If I have not learned how to manage food, what to eat, when I'm hungry, suddenly I'll go, 2-3 weeks I have been eating some healthy food, and then I go to a buffet and all my delicacies that I love is there. You think I'll be able to control myself? If I have not done it for at least a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. I've seen my in-laws. They skip a meal lunch because we are late in the plane. We come home by 5 o'clock. I'm stuffing my face, and they said, no, we'll wait for dinner. Where do you think that discipline came? It was cultivated last month.
Mm-hmm.
From the day they were, 5 years old, from then they have been practicing that you will not die if you miss a meal.
Mm-hmm.
So every area of your life,
right,
like a soldier, they are trained. Suddenly you can declare somebody a general and put them there and they can fight. No, they've not been trained in their sleep. When they hear a horn, bugle call, they'll get up and ready to fight. Why? Because it's been trained. You never rise to the occasion. You fall to your level of training.
Nita, you mentioned what the Buddhists think every night before they go to sleep about this is my body. It may not be there tomorrow. If one does that, I mean, for a human being like me, to me, I think it would really be very depressing. I mean, one can do the same thing in a different way where you think to yourself that, oh, let me be grateful for today. I don't know tomorrow. But that's the way you have said it for them. To me, it seems if I had to think like this, I'd be totally depressed.
So I'm so glad you brought out this. What did I say? Tibetan Buddhists and hermitages and ashrams. Did I say at home people do it? No, they cannot. If you don't have the knowledge, right? If you don't have the knowledge, everything is very difficult. It's like, a child, if you just say that, they've put a, what is it called, life-saving, that tube, but the kid doesn't know swimming. And you just throw the kid without talking to him, what the life-saving, that lifesaver, what is it called, that floater does. You throw the kid, you think it'll be a pleasant experience for the kid. No, they don't know whether they'll live or not. But somebody who knows what that tube will do, that floater will do, they wear it and jump in all the time into the ocean, into the pool, into the river. So if you're not ready, that exercise is not for everybody. I just gave an example that it is possible, but not for people who don't have the knowledge that you must really know you're not this body. But when you're identified with the body, you must do everything to preserve the body. And that is why, in fact, I think we talked about in the Guru Purnima workshop that when we take sannyasa, what is sannyasa? Samyak nyasa. Samyak is properly nyasa, put it in its own place. Put the body in its place. The body is not me. So before you go on that sannyasa journey, you need the permission of your mother. Whether you take your father, it's good, or if you take, but if you don't, that's also okay. We literally take it that, oh, only the mother is superior, the father. No, mother is prakriti, my prakriti. What is my prakriti? My body and mind. When my body and mind are not really ready to release me, what sannyasa will I go on? My body has to tell me you're ready. My mind has to say, tu bhi kya yaad karega? Go on, move on. Right? So when we say mother's permission, it is our body's permission. Have we prepared the body? Have we prepared the mind? Who will prepare the body? The mind will prepare the body. Who will prepare the mind? The intellect will prepare the mind. Who will prepare the intellect? A guru will prepare the intellect. Then only you can leave this body. You can't just live it willy-nilly.
Basically, Nita, that means to have the santusti in us, whatever at this moment we have, it's just that thank God I have everything. Like whatever is given to me, that is the kind of that practice I am doing, Madhu. So just that's why I had to tell, because it is like everything you have given me. This samsara has shown me everything. Now is time that I want to merge with the Om or some that ultimatum. So that is the santusti part. We can definitely practice that. That is my feeling. So, Sunita,
Thank you.
You said
Thank
the
you.
thing. Only one thing I will add to that is that when you said you have given me everything, that also, Arundhati, you've been on a spiritual path for a very long time, so you can say those words. This is what is the enemy or the challenge to Santushti is Devi has killed 6 sets of asuras. This is what? Rakta Bija Dhumra Lochana. Because if you must realize, given everything, Devi gave me only $50 million. I mean, I could have had $50 billion. So Devi has not given me everything. Devi gave me one child who's healthy and is very successful, but he's not Elon Musk. So Devi didn't give me the best child. My husband is fairly nice to me and he's very trustworthy, but he's not Lord Krishna or Lord Ram. So understanding that no desires can be completely fulfilled, and then you will say, I will have santushti. You must realize that dhumra lochana, rakta bija is every desire you fulfill, in its wake will come 1,000 other desires. And Dhumralochana is, you will think, just this one if I fulfill, just this job, this if my child is born, my child goes to school, my child is the homecoming king, my child goes to Ivy League, my child gets the best wife, my child gets not one, two, three, four beautiful children, my child has been nominated to be the president, my child now is getting for the Nobel Prize, and then my child, and it goes on and on and on. It will not end. Once the child finishes, grandchildren are in front of you. So realizing that dharma, artha, kama, moksha, this earth is a dorm, place for learning. It's a school. We don't go to a school with a dormitory to live there forever. We go there to learn and we come back home. So a soul has come here to sort out certain lessons and evolve and then go back. We must be ready at some point. We should be waiting to go. Then that santushti will come once you understand this, that I cannot fulfill all my desires. I just simply cannot. So I look at, and neither can I have perfection in every area: health, wealth, relationship, self-esteem. So something you will have to compromise. To what extent? Is 1 million enough? 50 million enough? 50 billion enough? Is being president of America enough? Or you want to attach every other country around you and then you'll be the president? That will be enough? What is it? What will give you? You must know that it is insatiable. That is called Maya. Yama. Yama is that, if you flip Maya, that which does not exist, you're trying to get satisfaction through that.
Yep.
So understanding, yes, I learned some lessons. I have a fairly decent life and I am happy. And that is a practice she's doing, which everybody can start at any point. That you don't have to wait for great spiritual this thing, but yes, you must have some spiritual knowledge that you will not get much more than this. If you get something, what are you willing to sacrifice? If you get the money that you're waiting for, are you willing to sacrifice the health? If you will not willing to sacrifice the health, will you sacrifice your children's future? If that is not your relationship with your spouse, if that is not, all society will hate, what are you willing? Which area is difficult or challenging such that you will still learn? Because imagine if you're a college going kid and you just want to feel good and you want to go to a sixth grade class and say, give me math, I can do all the math. Is that growth? Or a college student will go to PhD where you're challenged even more. Right? So some place you realize if you're not being challenged, there's no growth. You've dropped, you might as well be a Pashu. And that is why Lord Shiva is called Pashupati, that who controls the pasa. He'll bring you back at some point. And how will they bring you back? Two, Shiva will give you everything so that after getting everything, you'll be even more miserable than before you started. And then you say, please take me back. And Vishnu will give you nothing. Hara. Hari and Hara are same. They will take away in different ways. Vishnu will give you nothing so that you will realize the sooner you finish your job here, you go back home. So Hari and Hara mean the same thing, but they do it differently. Shiva says, take everything. You ask for 10, 10 plus 2 I'll give you. And then after getting 10 plus 2, you realize even more miserable than you were when you had nothing. And then you say, I'm sorry, please take me back. And Vishnu will say, nothing doing, you will get nothing. Have you seen Vishnu give anything to anybody? Because he knows when he runs this jagat that the danger of being stuck is so high. He loves you so much. He says, I will not let them get stuck. I will not give them anything. They will have to call to me and then I will take them back. Because if they don't call me, I cannot take them back. Close your eyes. Bring your hands together. Touch your heart. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah. Sarve Santu Niramaya. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Toma Satkamaya.
Tamasoma
Jyotirgamaya Mrityormamamtangamaya Om Purnamadam Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha
Oh,
Very-
I-
Thank you.
Thank you, Nita.